we're under a weather action day as snow will be moving into the metro area later today. Denver 7 is tracking the arriving storm, when it arrives, and how much snow we can expect. Denver Public Schools is moving forward with plans to close and consolidate schools. Officials say declining enrollment is to blame. The consolidation plan making its way to the Board of Education and the final vote that could seal the plan. Preparing for a spike in cases. More Colorado kids are showing up in hospitals, and it's raising concerns over RSV cases in the upcoming flu season. What you need to know to keep your kids safe. Thanks for joining us on Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Micah Smith. A weather action day here along the Front Range. Snow is heading our way. You can see the clouds rolling on in from our Mile High camera this morning. Denver 7 meteorologist Stacy Donaldson joins us now. Stacy, could this be the first official snow here in Denver?
It could be, yes. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll actually get measurable snow at DIA. We did have snow in our last storm, but it wasn't measurable at the airport, so not counted as our official first snow. Now, we do have cloudy skies up at Winter Park. We don't have snow there yet, but most of the snow is in the high country. We're just getting rolling with this storm across the state. We have cloudy skies here in Denver, but the cold air is in place, that's for sure. We're going from temperatures in the mid-70s yesterday to in the 40s for afternoon highs today. It's in the 30s right now for much of the metro area and up into the foothills. So we have the snow and rain out toward the western slope. We have some snow a little closer to home here off to the west, but no snow yet right in the metro area or for the eastern plains. We're going to be seeing some of that develop and move in later this afternoon and this evening. We have a lot of watches and warnings for the high country, but we'll talk about how long this will stick around coming up in a few minutes.
All right, looking forward to that update, Stacy. CDOT plows are already out on the roads this morning. This, as the agency says it's currently short about 300 workers right now. Staffing shortages are nothing new. CDOT has around 1,600 people working to maintain the highway throughout the state. Retention is the #1 goal right now as hiring becomes more challenging.
Right before they start, they had to basically cancel on the job offer. Or turn it down, if you will, because they could not locate places to rent or even buy.
Entry-level pay for plow drivers is only around $20 an hour. CDOT is hoping providing workforce housing may help. The agency is fully funding 2 big housing projects in Frisco and Fairplay and is looking to do the same in Roaring Fork Valley. You can get 24/7 Colorado weather updates and live radar on your TV. Just download the free Denver 7 Plus app on your favorite streaming device. Denver Public Schools is moving forward with its proposal to close and consolidate 10 schools. This morning, we're going in depth on the issues facing schools ahead of an important meeting. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford reports from Palmer Elementary with the next steps.
The district will present its plans for the consolidation of various schools tonight at the school board meeting. The Board of Education is going to decide in about 2 weeks on how to move forward. Before then, parents are going to be able to make their voices heard. Just this morning, we spoke with the vice president of the school board who says that nothing is a done deal just yet.
A lot of folks read a superintendent recommendation as their school is slated for closure and it's for certain. There's no way to change it. That's false. And we are the ones who are charged with that decision. So now we have been recommended by the superintendent to close or consolidate or unify 10 different schools. It is now up to the purview of the Board of Education to move forward, and from there we will decide if we approve the recommendation from the superintendent.
We've mapped out the 10 proposed closures, and there are schools across the city. The district says the declining enrollment that's forcing this plan is due to a lot of factors, and that includes lower birth rates, the housing market, gentrification. Superintendent Alex Marrero says the recommendation to close schools is not based on performance. He told us the plan is community focused and designed to have the least impact on faculty and students. He also says staff and faculty will have guaranteed jobs within the district.
We're retaining our educators and our staff. So those precious teachers that we've loved to adore, they're coming with you, student and mom and dad, if you're listening. So that's what we're doing that's unique, it's nuanced, and it's the right way to do it because this is never an easy decision to make.
And the district said just within the past 5 years, it has lost about $61 million per year due to declining enrollment, and it forecasts that within the next 4 years, it could lose about 3,000 1,000 elementary and middle school students. In Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Jessica. And taking a look at the bigger picture here, it is not just DPS. Jeffco wants to close 16 schools. The board will take a final vote next Thursday. Aurora has already closed 4 schools under the Blueprint APS plan. 4 more are closing at the end of the school year. Aurora has repurposed 2 buildings into new magnet programs. In an interview with us in August, Douglas County Superintendent said they'll have to consider closing schools because of declining enrollment. A nationwide law firm is investigating a deadly apartment fire in Lakewood. The Berg Simpson law firm says it will determine if the Tiffany Square apartments met minimum fire code and acted reasonably to protect people. We did some digging and filed an open records request for the building's previous fire inspections. In March of 2013, Tiffany Square Apartments was cited for improper maintenance of fire extinguishers. That same document says it was corrected 2 months later. The fire is now being investigated as arson. Lakewood investigators are looking for 2 boys. Denver police are still looking for 3 suspects involved in a deadly shooting along one of the city's busiest streets. Police say they did find the black SUV they believe was used as a getaway car from the corner of East Colfax and Verbena Tuesday. 1 man died and 5 others were hurt. 2 of the people shot are out of the hospital. At last check, the other 3 were in critical condition but are expected to survive. Former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson is planning to sue the city. In a Denver 7 exclusive, documents show Wilson says she was fired because she tried to reform, quote, racist policing. Specifically, her enforcement of the consent decree. The city of Aurora did respond to those claims. The city says they did not illegally terminate her, adding that it remains committed to the consent decree to ensure the Aurora Police Department serves every member of the community equitably. APD has been without a chief since Wilson was fired in April. Interim Chief Dan Oates will stay through the end of the month, and no announcements have been made for his replacement. More Colorado kids are going to the hospital for RSV and other common illnesses. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta shares how one hospital is preparing for a surge in cases.
So Colorado Children's Hospital, which is right behind me, it can actually hold about 40 patients in its ICU right now. It's pretty much full. RSV cases and flu cases, those are only expected to continue climbing. So doctors that work inside of this hospital, they say that they need to start thinking ahead. It's exactly what's going on right now. So Colorado Children's, they have this tiered process in place. And part of that process is sometimes having to put this tent right outside of its ambulance bay. Really what that means is that they'll be able to treat kids when they come in inside of that tent if they don't think they need those emergency services, and really if they don't think they need to stay overnight. So that's just one of the ways that they're getting prepared here. And of course, doctors inside say they're making other plans to make sure that they're ready.
We have to come up with contingency plans because we know that at any given time, we may see surges of patients primarily through viral outbreaks. This typical RSV season that we usually see in December through April, this hit us early. This is hitting us now in October and early November, and that also causes strain because this is not the typical time we plan for aspects of surge.
And I want to point out one really important thing that Dr. Bajaj told me yesterday. He says he doesn't think we've reached that peak in both RSV cases or flu cases, of course, since we're just getting into the season there. He says that if he could recommend one thing to parents, it's make sure that you're in contact with your child's primary care doctor. So if at any point you need to get a hold of them, if there's some sort of respiratory issues going on with your child, you can make that call as soon as possible and then get an answer as soon as possible as well. In Aurora, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Great advice there, Veronica. Now turning to home sales. The latest home sales report for the metro area out this morning shows prices have only dropped slightly. I'm talking about 1%. The number of closings last month dropped significantly, about 25%. If you're trying to sell, experts say you need to do a few things.
If a seller is interested in selling, whether it be this year or next year, we're really counseling sellers to take your time to get your home ready for the market. That's doing touch-up paint, doing any sort of updates that the home may need, any sort of landscape cleanup, anything that the home needs to get ready for the market.
Levinson Katz says some sellers may pull back over the holidays and wait until spring to list their homes. Today is the deadline to apply for the Denver Basic Income Project. It will help 820 people without homes with money every month for 12 months.
Just bringing hope to individuals where hope was lost before, hope never was before. Having someone believe in them, given without having any strings attached. You have full autonomy on how you utilize the fund, so long as you do not abuse it to end up back in the same situation that you're in.
More than 1,200 people have already applied. Applications have to go through a community-based organization involved in the project, like Servicios de la Raza or Salvation Army. You can learn more on the Denver Basic Income website. Denver has rolled out the red carpet for a little bit of Hollywood here in the Mile High City. We've got a preview of some of the big showings at this year's Denver Film Festival.